Hi guys, welcome to Learn Tech from Zero. Today we will be starting a new course which is CompTIA Network Plus. If you are interested in getting into networking and learn about how communication happened between different devices and to get into cybersecurity and other IT fields, Network Plus is a very famous and also a very important course, and a lot of places it recognizes the certificate. So if you have this um, in your collection, it's a really good thing. Also, Network Plus is slightly easier than CCNA. So if you find CCNA hard, then you can go with Network Plus. Network Plus also covers most of the fundamentals of networking, but CCNA is more to do with configurations. Like with CCNA, you'll have to log into a router, switch, and other devices, and you have to configure them manually. So there is a lot of you need to know a lot of commands and configurations. But with CompTIA Network Plus, this is more theoretical. So it's just more information. That's it. So let's just start with CompTIA Network Plus. So you can go to our website for everything that I explained. You will find them in details, so all the theoretical explanation in details. If you have any questions, you can just simply leave a comment. All right, so let's just start with the first topic, which is explain concepts related to the OSI reference model. So 1.1 OSI model. So OSI model has 7 layers: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Physical, data, network, transport, session, presentation, application. If you don't know what OSI model is, you need to understand what OSI model is, and also OSI model is also TCP IP model. Just let me just show it to you. You need to understand. You can go to my to the website Learn Tech from Zero. There is TCP IP and OSI model. You need to understand this model. This When we say model, this is what the devices follow to communicate between different devices, to communicate using the internet. So if you don't know what TCP IP and OSI model is, then you will not be able to do well in IT. You need to understand how devices communicate, how the data flow from one device to another device. So this conceptual model will explain you how devices flow. So TCP IP and OSI model is literally the same thing. So TCP IP is the model that every device use, but OSI model is for diagnosing, finding problems, to basically with OSI model you can find where exactly the problem is within the TCP IP. It's literally the same thing. I don't want to go too much into details. I've already created other videos, so you can check other videos, or you can just go to the website, click on it, and you should find all the details. All right, so let's start with TCP IP model. I'll just click on it. Sorry, let's start with OSI model. So OSI reference model. That's 1.1 in Network Plus exam. All right, so OSI model, I'll just give you a quick explanation. So OSI model has 7 layers, um, and then the communication goes. Let's say you sent a message to your friend. So you are using an application. So you are right there. So when you send the message to your friend, it goes from 7654321, and then it goes to your friend, and then when your friend receives it, it goes from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's where he uses the application to receive your file. So this is what it's all about. So the communication, the senders, they send from 7654321. The receivers, they receive using 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So let's just go in details with each of the model. Okay, so let's start with the model. The first one is physical layer. So we are talking about 1, 2 to this way. So we are going this way. So we are receiving. sense, we are receiving a file. So layer 1 is a physical layer. It's a hard the layer is about hardware and signals, the things that you can touch and see. So physical layer is basically Ethernet cables, fiber optic cables, the Wi-Fi, the Wi-Fi router that you have. So it normally communicates using radio waves. So yeah, so this is what it is all about. RJ45 connectors is literally the same as Ethernet cables. So this is what physical layer is. The physical layer is are the physical the connection that normally gives you access to the internet. That's it. So their main job is to move bits, ones and zeros, through cables, connectors. If you don't know what ones and zeros are, this is binary. Computers can only understand one and zero, which means on and off. One means on, zero means off. And the CPU, when you send a message to someone, everything converts to millions of ones and zeros, and the CPU of that mobile or the device, at the receiver's end, will convert all these ones and zeros to readable language. Let's just finish with that. So we don't need to get too much into details. It just wants you to know, you understand. The Network Plus wants you to know that you understand OSI model in general. All right, and the next one is data link layer. So the data link layer is an example of a switch. Let's just say switch networking enterprise. All right, so so this is a switch. At your home, you have a home router, and you might have in your on the router you might have one or like three or four of those ports. So your home router has switch capability as well. So your home router is layer 2 and layer 3. It does switching and IP routing. We will explain you in a bit. So in big companies, they keep it separate because there's a lot of communication, so they have a separate switch and separate routers. But in home environment, you have all in one, so you have a switch and a router in one device. All right, let's just move into the next one. So in layer 2, the devices communicate between MAC addresses. This is all you need to know. MAC addresses. So layer 2, the communication happened within a LAN. LAN is a local area network. So so your home environment before the router is a LAN. So for example, when you send a message, let's say your mom is next door. When you send a message to your mom, you are sending a message in a LAN, because you guys are before the router, you guys are literally right next to each other, and you guys use the same internet. And then so this is what LAN is. So and when you guys communicate with each other using LAN, like if you guys are in the same place and if you guys have the same Wi-Fi or the same internet connection, you guys will be communicating with MAC address. So this is all you need to know. So layer 2 is communication using in a LAN using MAC addresses. And layer 2 switches, like this sort of switches, you can create virtual LANs. Like right now you only have one LAN because it's just one network, but you can create virtual like you can create separate department within that private network. We will cover that later on. So you can do that using a switch, a layer 2 switch. A layer 2 switch, it's you I don't think you can do that using a home router, because your home router is a router and a layer 2 switch together. But I don't think it has a they are mostly managed, sorry, unmanaged switches. And these ones are managed switches, where you can go in there and you can create virtual local area network. Like you can create separate networks within that private network, so that you can keep separate traffic. This is what enterprises or big companies they do. We will cover that later on. And then we have layer 3. So layer 3 is for communicating between different devices, or communicating between different virtual LANs. But it's going to get confusing, but don't worry about it for too much. Let's just review again. So layer 1 is the connection to the internet, so it's something that you can see. So Ethernet cables, fiber optic cables, the Wi-Fi radio waves, and the connectors that connect to the internet. That's it. And then you have the connectors to connect different devices. All right. And then layer 2, you have a switch that operates at layer 2. Switch operates layer 2, and then they use MAC addresses to communicate, and it can create virtual local area network. And then layer 3, you have IP addresses, subnets, and protocols, etc. So handles routing, moving data between different networks. So LAN to LAN or LAN to WAN. LAN to LAN is something that you need to know more about: virtual local area network, subnetting, etc. We will cover that later on, so don't worry about it too much. To keep it very simple, layer 2 is for communicating between different devices within a LAN, a private network, before the router. And then layer 3 is communicating between different networks, basically communicating between different routers. So you and your let's say you are in one you are at home and you are communicating with your friend. He's in a different city, so the communication will happen using layer 3 IP addresses, because your router will send a message to his router, and then he will receive the message, because you guys are not in the same network. If your friend was right next door and you guys were using the same Wi-Fi or same internet, you guys would be communicating using layer 2 MAC addresses. Because he's in a different network, you guys will be communicating using IP addresses. All right, now next one, layer 4, transport layer. So this is how, so transport layer, they have two protocols, TCP and UDP. TCP will make sure the data is delivered 100%. So for example, if you're sending an email, mostly it will use TCP, and all the contents within that email will get delivered. Nothing so if something is missed, or if there is a problem with the network and it missed some of the data, it will resend the data again. So it will make sure that everything is sent properly. So that's TCP. UDP is faster but no checking. So this is secure, reliable. UDP is not reliable, but it's for faster communication. Like for example, when you are streaming games, or if you're on the phone, or if you're watching online sports, most likely it's using UDP. So if you miss something, it will not try to send it back to you. Like for example, when you are on the phone, it's using, most probably it's using UDP connection, like phone, like an internet phone. Or let's say you are on Microsoft Teams, you are having a online meeting. So mostly it's done with UDP. So if someone says something and you don't hear it, it will not try to send it again, so the person will have to repeat it. So that's what it's all about. It's very fast, but it will not make sure that you are receiving everything that's been sent to you. If something is missed, it's just gone, and they will have to resend it again. So that's what it's all about. Transport layer 4, transport layer. It uses two protocols, TCP and UDP, and they need to know port numbers. There are examples. So I'm just going to keep it as short as possible. If you want to learn more about it, you need to go to the website, learntechfromzero.com. All right, the next session is session layer. So we have covered 1, 2, 3, 4. So physical layer is the cables, uh, fiber optic, Ethernet. Data link is switch, a layer 2 switch. Network is a router, and transport is TCP and UDP connection. So TCP will make sure the data is delivered. UDP will not make sure, but it's a very fast connection. The last three layers, 5, 6, 7, you need to know as a network engineer, or if you are into networking, you need to know how they work, but you don't need to be an expert. Your day-to-day job will be based on all these. But these are 5, 6, 7. This is something that you need to know, because this is more to do with the software. This is how the software is written. This is how the software works using the programming language or the codes. So you need to know them. So in TCP IP model, these 7, 6, 5, 6, 7, they are in one layer, because it represents just one section. All right, let's just go quickly. Let's just cover them. Session layer will basically every time you want to, let's say different devices want to connect, or if you want to browse internet or whatever, it will create a session, and then it will try to remember the session, and if you are not there, the session will get canceled. So this is what it's all about. Session layer creates and maintains sessions, temporary connections between devices. It keeps track of who is talking to whom and for how long. That's it. You don't need to know too much in details. If you're interested, you can just go on the website and learn more about it. Layer 6 is presentation layer. So all the data that's been received, it will start, so it will, what you, if there is an encryption, it will decrypt it for you, decode it, so that your device can understand, you can read, and then it will put it in the right format that your application can understand, and it show it to you. And it does compression, like if the files are big, it does compression, decompression, etc. So this is what layer 6 is all about. So with application layer, this is the layer users interact with directly. It provides network services to the application. So application layer is the one that's closest to you. So it's the app that you guys use to connect to the internet or to send and receive data. And so this is how it's all work in general. If you want to know more about this, go on to learntechfromzero.com, and then you can find more examples. I've given examples of how, when you send a video to your friend, how it works, the big picture. There is so much to it. So when you go through all this theory, you should be able to understand in greater details. If you guys have any questions, please leave a comment, and I will come back with the next topic, which is compare and contrast network applications and functions of all these different network devices and technologies. Until then, thanks for your time, and I will see you soon.